Hong Kong's chief executive was challenged right from her entrance into the Legislative Council. Protests from Phar Kim Beng lawmakers stopped Carrie Lam from making it to the podium the first time. And when she did, they carried on. The council president tried to get people's attention. But the meeting was adjourned and security ushered Lam out of the chamber. The council later aired the chief executive's policy address online. In it, Lam outlined more than 200 initiatives. They included policies on more affordable housing, mortgages, better land supply and new transport links. She also promised to increase social support and expand student subsidies. But Lam said the protests over the past 4 months have hurt Hong Kong's image and have contributed to unemployment. She noted that the economy likely entered a recession in the third quarter.
Fellow citizens, so long as Hong Kong remains impeded by unresolved disputes, ongoing violence, confrontation and discord, our city cannot embark on the road to reconciliation and people will lose faith in the future.
Before Wednesday's address, US lawmakers showed their support for Hong Kong's anti-Beijing movement. Congress passed a series of measures to prevent further erosion of Hong Kong's one country, two systems with China.
For years, the people of Hong Kong have faced a barrage of unjust and harsh restrictions on their freedoms, and those who have stood up for their rights have been met with a cruel crackdown. In Congress, Democrats and Republicans in the House and in the Senate stand united with the people of Hong Kong.
The Chinese government, which backs Lam, has warned that it will strike back against what it terms, quote, US meddling in its internal affairs. That's threatening to turn Asia's financial hub into a diplomatic battleground between the world's two largest economies. And the fallout could further damage Hong Kong's already struggling economy. Caroline Malone, TRT World, Hong Kong.
For more on this, Phar Kim Beng joins me from London. He's a political economist and founder of consulting firm Eco Strategic Insight. Thank you very much for your time. It's been an interesting day in Hong Kong. Carrie Lam has admitted that the country faces unprecedented economic challenges. How serious is the situation and is there any confidence she can fix them?
I think there has been a collapse of confidence in Carrie Lam's ability to remain as the governor of Hong Kong. To a large extent, this is because of the failure to address the 5 demands of the people of Hong Kong.
In her speech, she unveiled measures which she said will boost the economy, but they focused mainly on things like property and public transport. She didn't really address any of the issues that would be more important, you would assume, which is ways to stop these anti-government protests. Was that a failing on her behalf?
That is definitely a failing on her behalf, because the reason why the protests have been going on for the last 18 weeks is precisely because the Hong Kong people are demanding more political freedom, more political actions, yet the cost of corrections or the policy recommendations that are coming from Carrie Lam are still strictly on economic or social issues. So there is a process where the confidence building measure is not being put in at all to allow all the relevant political parties, both in the streets and in the Legislative Council, to meet eye to eye on various issues that can stop the unrest, so to speak.
She even admitted during her speech that Hong Kong is in a technical recession, as she calls it, but she also said that, that they can weather the storm and move on. I mean, how long is it going to take for Hong Kong to rebuild its image as an important financial hub?
Well, first of all, we have to understand that Hong Kong is not as important to China as compared to 35 or 40 years ago. In 1979, Hong Kong was about 30% of China's entire GDP. Right now, Hong Kong only constitutes about 2% of China's GDP. So in that statistical sense, Hong Kong is no longer as important to China as it was before. Yeah. So that is the perspective that I would look at. And that is also the reason why Hong Kong, as Governor Carrie Lam, has to start looking at the local problems and the grievances that are affecting the whole of the city-states.
It is a tricky one, and another day of unrest there in Hong Kong. Phar Kim Beng, thank you very much for joining us from London.